PayPal, a small company founded in the late 1990s, set out to transform the way we manage money online. Nobody could have guessed that this small company would produce a collection of tech titans who would later go on to reinvent the industries, establish billion-dollar businesses, and transform the entire world as we realize it. When PayPal was sold to eBay, there was a group of people who left the company to launch their own businesses and invest in other innovations. They are now known as PayPal Mafia. The question here is, how did they even bond together? Let's figure this out. In the late 90s, money transfers were not as easy as they are today. So Peter Thiel and Max Levchin decided to build a way of user-to-user payment via electronic wallet and ultimately established the company FieldLink, which later changed its name to Confinity. At the same time, another innovative entrepreneur, Elon Musk, intended to establish an online-only bank. At the age of 27, he sold his first firm, Zip2, to Compaq for $307 million, earning approximately $22 million. To expedite the debut of his new company, Musk swiftly hired a team of experts who soon launched the online bank X.com in the end of 1999. Confinity and XCOM were created at the same time. Confinity provided fewer services than XCOM, but was seen as its primary opponent due to its successful marketing approach. However, the embers of competition heated up when eBay chose to buy BillPoint in the middle of 1999, bringing a new and formidable competitor into action. Confinity began to lose funds, whilst X.com, although having more resources and assets, was dealing with a lack of acceptability and popularity, particularly following the crisis involving dubious transfers and unguarded accounts. For this reason, both companies decided to merge in the early 2000s. The newly merged business chose to focus on developing a system for digital payments, and the brand name was changed to PayPal in 2001. PayPal initially struggled to acquire traction, but the business eventually achieved success by sticking with making online payments simple and convenient for consumers and small companies. PayPal went public in 2002 and experienced great success. Due to alliances with significant online merchants like eBay, the business grew rapidly, and PayPal eventually overtook other online payment processors. PayPal was once again an autonomous firm after eBay spun it off in 2015. PayPal is one of the most popular online payment networks in the world, handling billions of transactions annually, and having a market capitalization of over $85 billion. But PayPal's fame came from more than just its achievements. In these early years, a number of ambitious, innovative people made up PayPal's executive team. Some of the names on there may seem familiar to you today: Reid Hoffman, Chad Hurley, Peter Thiel, and Elon Musk, to mention a few. The group of people that worked there and later founded some of the most prosperous tech companies in history made a significant impact on the tech sector. These people, referred to as the PayPal Mafia, are examples of the inventive culture and spirit of entrepreneurship that PayPal promoted. In addition to developing a game-changing product, this dream team fostered an innovative culture where failure was seen as a necessary step toward success. Risk-taking was encouraged, and competition was promoted. The core of the Mafia network comprises 13 to 20 members, but as stated by Peter Thiel, the general number of PayPal Mafia members might be as high as 220, most of whom were unable to evolve along with the parent company's culture after PayPal was sold to eBay. When many in the tech industry had already given up, they decided to use their experience at PayPal to develop their own creative ideas or invest in others. They made a commitment to uplift one another and change the world. And now they can be regarded as among those who have a pulse on the technological world. While many could refer to them as a group of tech geniuses, Peter Thiel believes a better term to describe them is friendship. As Peter Thiel has said, "I prefer to use the word friendship instead of network. I think friendship is an important part of the work, something that is very rare and underestimated in our world. Of course, it is an exaggeration to say that in the end, they were all really good friends." After the company was sold to eBay in 2002, the Mafia persisted in cooperating and making investments together. They have each started, financed, or run some of the largest tech companies in the world. The Dons who run Silicon Valley. A significant shift in e-commerce occurred when PayPal joined eBay, but for the creative members of the PayPal Mafia, corporate life was not for them. They yearned for their initial autonomy. Their values were at odds with the control and bureaucracy. They believed that in a big company, their opinions weren't as important. Red tape hampered their ingenuity. In his book 0 to 1, Peter Thiel expressed his dissatisfaction with eBay's bureaucracy. He left in 2004 as a result of it. Max Levchin left in 2002 because he desired greater latitude for his experiments. The Mafia dispersed, and their influence grew throughout Silicon Valley, serving as the foundation for innumerable businesses. Despite being together at PayPal, business life suppressed them. Every new venture and concept that emerged was similar to an additional branch on the PayPal Mafia family tree. This innovation forest was expanded by SpaceX, Tesla, LinkedIn, YouTube, Palantir, and other companies. While the PayPal Mafia has primarily invested in Silicon Valley software companies, the majority of PayPal Mafia members were either students of University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign or Stanford University. These youthful, accomplished, and extremely motivated individuals have left a lasting impression not only on Silicon Valley, but in the startup and technology industries as a whole. So, what important insights can we draw from them? Being adaptive and rapid learner. In an interview with Forbes on startups, Reid Hoffman, the co-founder of LinkedIn, and Peter Thiel recapped PayPal's history and key success elements. They came to some common ground and made some observations, particularly with regard to the success of startups and the technology industry. The most essential component is the capacity to pick up new skills and methods quickly. They commended that skill to a certain level, not for the sake of only learning, but as the basis that allows you to be adaptable, which is vital in the dynamic and ever-changing world of startups. Think big. Start little. PayPal was a little idea at first, but it grew quickly because its founders considered the wider picture. Always have an idea of what you want your startup or new product to become, whether you're starting it from scratch. A statement made by Elon Musk. I think it's possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary. The group realized that PayPal was only the start. Every tiny step had a huge impact in mind behind it. Their businesses today serve as examples of this concept. Remember this when starting a business or working on a side project. Start small, but don't lose sight of the bigger picture. You never know where a single step will take you. Long-term vision and short-term goals. The PayPal Mafia made choices often in a matter of days, while other companies would take months. They moved quickly. Even though they worked quickly, they never lost sight of the bigger picture. Let's take an inside look at Peter Thiel's management style as an example. Despite his reputation as a master financial thinker, he consistently employed this straightforward management strategy. Without a question, Peter Thiel is a visionary. His goal for PayPal was to become the Microsoft of payments, the financial operating system of the world. He frequently discussed how his straightforward internet service would be able to address unfair wealth distribution tactics carried out by corrupt governments. This idea of global dominance developed into a potent motivator for every employee. However, he always took care to set realistic, short-term objectives that could be reached, which helped the team stay on task and work toward a realistic goal. This involved keeping a close eye on, tracking, and rewarding progress toward increasing the proportion of eBay listings that use PayPal as opposed to BillPoint, which was at the time the company's largest rival. It's not necessary to have everything worked out before you take action. Speed is just an advantage. Learn, adapt, and polish as you go. Be fearlessly disruptive. They were born disruptors. The PayPal Mafia didn't hesitate to question the existing quo. Whether it was in social networking, finance, or space exploration, they identified inefficiencies in the world and decided to change it. They did not exercise caution. They took on large, dangerous problems. Downshift decision-making, as much as you can. Having all the finest ideas is not a prerequisite for leadership. Rather, it is about creating an environment where outstanding ideas can flourish, regardless of where in the organization they originate. This was one of the main lessons learned. PayPal supported this culture throughout, and even institutionalized it through the producer's role. At PayPal, producers are the modern equivalent of product managers. They were essentially given complete control over a feature area or discipline, expected to carry it out successfully, and required to report on their progress. The designation of the position as producer itself demonstrated their emphasis on outcomes and making others responsible for them. The PayPal Mafia's tale is about more than just creating prosperous businesses. It has to do with legacy. Redefining entrepreneurship is the goal. PayPal was more than just a payments corporation at its foundation. It was a disruptive force, putting traditional banking to the test and reinventing the possibilities for money transfer in the digital age. But risk-takers were the ones who founded PayPal. It wasn't founded on safety or caution. As Peter Thiel says, every company starts out as a monopoly of one. It's the bold ideas that change the world. What separates the PayPal Mafia from others? Their way of thinking was more important than merely the technology. Instead of seeing barriers, they saw opportunity. They welcomed unpredictability and posed the same fundamental question to themselves all the time. How can we improve the world? Elon Musk once said, "When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor." Innovation is about pushing the envelope, not just making minor adjustments. The PayPal Mafia revolutionized entire industries in addition to technology. Musk's reusable rockets and electric vehicles upended preconceived notions about what was feasible. Risk and vision come together to foster innovation. The PayPal Mafia realized that the biggest risks frequently result in the biggest profits, so they weren't hesitant to take massive chances and venture into the unknown. Future. So, what comes next? Not only is what the PayPal Mafia has created, but also what is ahead is. What will make them famous? Their founding companies are already focusing on the future. AI is revolutionizing LinkedIn's professional connections. SpaceX is leading space tourism, and Tesla is creating self-driving automobiles. Their impact is still felt in a variety of industries, motivating the following generation of business owners to reach higher goals, work more, and rethink what is thought to be achievable. Even though they only had a basic payment platform at first, their legacy has changed the face of entrepreneurship. They've demonstrated to us that you can transform the world, one business at a time, one concept at a time, if you have the correct attitude, the proper team, and the guts to innovate. The next breakthrough invention might be yours. What are you going to create? The world is waiting.